Yo, welcome to my recording. I did it as a recording actually because I was just sketching down some of those ideas as I was linking these points that I was referring to. And I thought maybe if I do a PowerPoint, it would be easier to refer to my ideas, and it was also easier for me to kind of track my ideas. I hope it's not too much, so I hope to squeeze it all in into some amount of minutes. So this is a video of School of Thoughts. You get the joke? It's funny because this fish here, they are referred to as school, like a bunch of fish. And I hope these ideas kind of together, some kind of sense emerges out of them, like in systems thinking. And so I don't claim any of these ideas to be my original ideas. This is just ideas I got from random books, random people, from all the world around me, and then I kind of sat down and built up on it myself. So I guess the connecting the dots between these thoughts is what I did myself. So let's go. This is humans. We say, what is a human? What's human in general, right? And I guess this is the essential word concept to think about in this topic, right? We are not perfect. We have a weird bodies, weird evolutionary path, lots of unnecessary thing, and our mind is super focused on survival, which does not help sometimes so much in a modern world. So we have a human, we have anything around the human, we can call it surroundings, environment, the cosmos, whatever you want. And then you have this flow that constitutes the life. We can call it ecology between you and your surroundings. And we can focus on these three different things, right? And humans want to know. Humans really love knowing stuff because that helps to survive, I guess. And about literally anything, we can say, what is this? And about the flow, we can ask, how can we make something happen? How can we make something occur? And then can we create something around us? Can we make something new as well? And that's to do with the flow and with the environment and with you, I guess. It's the whole thing, basically. Of course, I must say that a human does not exist separately from its surroundings. Like, what is Marius without everybody of your family, of your friends, of your school, of your uni, of your work? Like, the relationships to the world around us define a lot of who we are. A lot, maybe not all of us, but a lot. But this is a topic for another day. So, there can be literally infinite ways to look at things around us, of course. Stuff just exists. It's not good, not bad, just exists. Life exists, planet exists. And then people say, what kind of problem is this? Like, if you ask an engineer, you ask a doctor, you ask a sociologist, you ask a musician to look at stuff existing from their point of view, and they will be like, okay, this is a problem, or that is a problem. Like, problem is created in your mind because your mind wants to solve something. It says stuff is like this, and let's move this direction. And other people will say, let's move this direction, and then this that's just direction, or that's like a director in a movie, which way you gonna go. And then many people can have different ideas on where to go, and the problem exists because that's like basically the obstacle between where you are and where you want to go, right? And because change always happens, there's always going to be a problem for each person, because each person should have an idea of where they want to go with a change. I hope it's not too much rambling, right? And good is also the same, like good for what purpose? We have this quote in chemistry, it's called one man's catalyst is another man's observer compound, right? If there's nothing for the catalyst compound to catalyze, then it's useless. It's not really a catalyst, it's just stuff existing. But in certain environments, certain circumstances, it's a catalyst, right? Which is kind of quite cool, And then a problem does not exist until it is observed, I guess, until we create a path in direction in which we want to have a change. So We say everybody is unique, everybody is different in a way that we look at literally anything around. So I guess this is like really an introductory thing. So then we notice, right? We grow and then we see the world differently and differently again, and then there are different ways we now want to go. So then there are different problems, and other things are no longer problems because we don't want to go that way anymore. So the problem is no longer an obstacle because we're not interested in going that way. It's just, I guess, replacing the word problem by a word obstacles often, maybe not always, but quite often would be quite accurate. And there's infinite possibilities for this journey, obviously. So we want to know. And in literally anything around, there's so much freaking uncertainty and so much you cannot know. Of course, this drive for knowledge has driven science a lot, and we must be grateful for that, but there's still so much fucking uncertainty even in quantum physics, quantum mechanics, whatever. So what people do instead is they focus on the flow. It's gone somewhere, but okay. So certainty in relationships is based on survival, but somebody breaks up with you but not really, or somebody ghosts you or something, you're like, you want this confirmation. It's better to have a definite no than be in a uncertainty, be in a unknown, like, where am I? You want to get there somehow. That's really some trait of being a human, I guess, right? But this is uncertainty. Love, life is uncertain. So here I took a picture in Iceland. It's a river, right? But life here is stopped. It's not moving, not changing, not flowing. So what can we say about this river? It's like a still picture. Same thing we can ask our friends, how are you? And a human is like a river. He always moves, always changes. Like, how am I in general? Like, you gotta take some integral, some average of your all states of your day. Maybe I'm thinking about too complicated. Maybe you just answer in general. Oh yeah, I'm cool. If you don't have like big problems, but you know what I mean. Like, people like certain answers, and even in our own heads we can have so much uncertainty. Like, I imagine all the different thoughts dancing like people on a Psy stage, and there can be conflicting thoughts also in your head just dancing along to the beat of life, and it's gonna be totally not weird. It's normal to have uncertainty inside your mind and outside there, and in the way you do things and whatnot. But people are seen as reliable if they're stable, if they're safe. In England, you say you're safe because you trust them, because they're reliable. But that is because in some way they will not change, and that is a valid trait. You trust them, they're your true person. Like, so I guess in some aspects we change a lot, and in other aspects we might remain the same, like loyalty in for all of our lives. Like, it's completely possible, right? In my point of view. So there's so much uncertainty, and at least by having this certain paradigm, interaction rules, like how we see the world, if we control this flow with the world, we can be a bit safer. So we form different rules at how to look at things, how to understand things, right? There was different paradigms, and there still are so many different paradigms in different parts of the world, but it's just more safer because we feel more in control when we feel more certain about something. So let's say there's many different paradigms, right? And as rules can come from your own self-discipline, like habits also, or it can come from the imposed rules, right? So when somebody's teaching you something, they can either be like, hey, look at how I do it, look at how I act, and copy it, like a recipe that describes strictly how to do things. And I was for a long time really looking forward to this exact way. Like, I would be looking for people for this arrow, show me this way of looking at this, show me your way, I want to know your way, because if you know other people's way, you can more construct a way for yourself, right? But many people also present stuff in a free thinking way, right? They teach you how to think about this concept, and then you find your own way. I guess for me, I for myself look to learn about other people's ways, so then I can have more data, more information, maybe find the best way based on data. But maybe the better way would be find the best way based on intuition, what's coming from me, right? I don't know if the best uh, possible result is just taking the average, look at the statistics, what seems best. But again, what is good, what is bad, that is kind of subjective and changes also constantly with time, with different social norms and rules. And is it so smart to follow the bands, follow the sheep, follow the statistics, or I don't know. So in Iceland, right? So we were talking about Iceland and my thoughts in Iceland here. Like, there's less certainty, more agency. So we have this till machine, the just counting machine. There's the story in Iceland. There was some shop, Costco, I think. They come from America to Iceland. They want to establish their shop, have their certain way of doing things, and they hire British managers for the shop. And British managers are like, you must dress like this, talk to people like this, count like this, I don't know, like count the money at this hour. And then the system failed because the British managers could not control the Icelander workers. The Icelander is like, he would be like, fuck off, man. Like, it's not so fucking hard to work at the till. Like, what can be so difficult? And then he's just gonna go to the till and he's gonna figure it out. And it's also in the same way that any Icelandic boss will tell you how to do things. They'll not tell you nothing. They'll just give you a task. And then they'll say, okay, go do this task and figure it out. Because Icelanders have a head on their shoulders, right? They have a brain, right? They are able to think. An ability I am trying to also develop, I suppose. Because I was for quite a bit of time by our educational system used to knowing the rules well, applying the rules well, but not really, creating my own rules or looking creatively in how to look at the world in my own way, So people will say, do it like this. No, not for Icelanders. They'll figure it out. And there's many unique ways on how you can do a till. Like, it's not like a big deal, right? And they will do it well. They'll still count the money. They'll still be themselves at the till. And it's going to be fine because it's going to be their way, which will make them be more in the present, more enjoying the process, because nobody tells you what to do. Nobody's micromanaging you. So you can just be yourself, You can be yourself a bit more because there's no strict rules to follow. And I guess it's more difficult for people who are afraid of freedom. They don't know yet themselves how to be themselves or how to behave in this independent manner. But I guess this is a skill that's learned with time, right? So you don't need to be perfect, which is again a subjective thing, but the job done. This is also sometimes a problem in Icelandic society because, for example, they print you ask at the print shop, print me these 3 photos as posters, right? And they'll fuck up on all 3 of the things you ask them to do. And they'll be like, yeah, I still did my work. I was still trying to do it. Maybe something didn't work, but here you go. Maybe I give you a little discount. That's how we think. And it's totally acceptable in that society to be like that. It's only in our European society that we're so striving for perfection. If the work is not done perfectly or how I want it to be, then I'll not accept it, which is, I guess, fair, right? But in Iceland, it's not like this. In Iceland, sometimes less than perfect is perfectly acceptable. See what I did there? Funny, no? I know I'm a comedian. So, handling agency. Welcome to living. I was so afraid at some point, about doing some things, like little things that don't really matter, like making a sandwich in a sandwich shop, and you think, how much salad should I put? What is the perfect amount of salad? Am I putting it too much sauce? And then, you know, eventually just figure it out, do what you want. It's action reaction. You see, maybe the same input is gonna give different kind of output depending on whatever else is there, whatever customer is there. Maybe all the different customers have different preferences, so it's impossible to find the thing that suits them all, right? But maybe if you innovate and just do it how you like it, or if you do it in the action, or maybe you can just do each one unique and interact with your customer and ask them, do you want more sauce here or do you want more salad here? You know, then there's an interaction. You're in a process. You're living, not just mechanically doing it, right? And I guess if you take each individual case as each individual case, then you're more in a now, not daydreaming, not just doing an automatic, you're doing a manual. Yeah. So it's an active process. It's a creative process, at least in my opinion. And these all ideas like are leading somewhere. So substance, right? We all are seeking for some kind of substance in our lives. Maybe it's to validate what we're doing, you know, is a substantial action, is a good action, but it's so hard to kind of come up with, like, the viewpoint, how you look at it, literally, which way you look at something feels an action with substance, right? And having this viewpoint allows to have motivation for an action, and then it becomes easy to live in the moment, to enjoy it, to live it. So cooking for family, I want to read a little quote from this one book. It's written in Lithuanian, but I'll try to translate it as I go. So here we go, a little bit of a story. So one time, while reading Ayurveda, I got to learn one thought that kind of radically changed my way of thinking, way of looking at stuff, right? It says the way of looking at stuff, right? This motivation, it fills our actions with substance. If there's no motivation, there's no substance. So, if there's no substance, then our mind does not see the point to be in the present. It doesn't give energy. And then, because it doesn't give energy, because the mind thinks the work is not substantial, you get tired and the work seems boring. But if you have the motivation, if you feel the action of substance, then it's gonna be like easy going and even maybe bring you joy, right? So this person, this woman, cook, food person, she says, so I understood that food is a really amazing carrier of love. In some cultures, from old days, mothers and grandmothers, they share their love through cooking food. You know, like they feed not only our tummies but our souls as well, right? It's not because the recipes are super duper fancy, it's because the feeling that they put into the food when they cook the food, right? You know, maybe in Lithuania not everybody felt it, but So she says, if we return to this connection between love and food, right, which at first it seems distant, right? So then she says, let's consider how should a mother transfer her love every day to others. You know, while the children are small, you can give them hugs and stuff, but is that enough? When kids become teenagers, and or when people become adults and they become so stiff, you know, it's even hard to reach them through food. But at least for food, it's possible, you know. So, so she says the idea is that if you understand this, the cooking food for the loved family is not something you have to do. It's an amazing thing you can do. It's almost a privilege that you are given this way to love them every day, she says. And so because you feel that it's substantial, because you're able to give love, it's so much more substantial than a book or having some bath, because you're able to give love and share with others. So in this conclusion, this woman says, you know, in this way, the cooking food becomes no longer a mundane action that you have to do this shit every day, or take care of, feed my family, ta ta ta. No, you look at it as an amazing opportunity to share love, even for people who are so stiff and are not really capable yet or at the moment of accepting love. So I thought this was quite a good phrase and quite a good paragraph. And anything else is basically mind wanders. It's not in the present if you're not see substance. And being in the present is good, in my opinion, for living. And basically she says, she gives love that fills the food of substance. You feed the soul as well as the body. It's all good. We love food. We love love. So in Akureyri, there was this kebab place and also a falafel place, right? And I was there, I was just sitting there. I first went to this place and I saw so many people kind of crowding in front of it, and I thought, oh yeah, I don't want to wait the line. So I went until Subway, and Subway looked so, I don't know, sterile, and I felt like I wanted to come back here. And this place doesn't seem like your typical kebab place. It looks more like a cozy cafe, super chill out, and everybody just waiting and no hurry. This place looked like real, Like last time I felt real like this was when I was in an ice skating rink. Ice skating with my sister also, and everybody there were like living life really. And here it was like this. I saw people working there. There was like 4 people, and they all were like really into this cooking thing, like really loving the process, living the moment. It was like a slice of life in front of me, and I thought I need to learn so much from them. And there was no rush in waiting. You just enjoyed the process of waiting. You enjoyed the process of waiting for your food. You didn't even wanted it to end so fast, because the food in your hands meant the end of this experience of looking at the slice of life, because that's it. You got your falafel, okay, out you go. I mean, sure, you could eat it inside, but you get the idea, right? Basically, you wait for your food, you're hungry, you see the people really working hard to prepare your food, you see the love that they put into making your food. That was a special falafel place, really. Like, I don't know if I'll be able to enjoy falafel so much anywhere else, and it was also delicious as well. I don't know if it was delicious because of all the cool sauces or things they added, but it felt like made with so much love as well. So well, this is a slice of life. Akureyri is just a town in some North Iceland where I stayed for a week or so. So I met this guy hitchhiking who learned to bake, and he's now working as a baker in Iceland. He's like from North Caledonia, which is or New Caledonia, close to New Zealand, a little small island with like some 100,000 people. And he said he just learned to bake like 4 years ago, and then now he's already just got a job as a baker, basically. How fucking crazy is that? He doesn't have any baking school. He was just hanging around at home, had a bunch of time, and bam, he's now working as a baker. With full responsibility, because in Iceland, nobody's gonna tell you what to do. We just say, yeah, go be a baker. And this guy is working as a baker, right? So we were talking a lot about this process motivated or ends motivated idea. So obviously, you, I told them, but if you ask maybe 100 of your customers about what is the best cookie to make, right? And they all give you the idea, you get the statistics, you get the data for the best cookie, and then you can make it, right? Everybody's happy because in the end, if people are happy, then that's good, right? But he said, but the process allows you to innovate, to change, to play, to try, to learn. And then if we would always do the same thing and never try something different, we would never innovate and maybe we would never know better. Maybe the world would always stay in dark ages if we would never allow ourselves to be creative. And he just makes a new batch of cookies, and then you see maybe people like this, maybe people like that, and you always experiment. And I guess in cooking maybe it's really free, but you kind of feel responsibility for the people. Here's a bunch of cookies, try them. Maybe they're gonna be really bad, but who knows. He allows himself to be there. And we were talking about similarly soulless music, right? When people talk about end motivated music, like they want to produce this product that many people are gonna like, they think about the end, but they're not putting their selves in the process really of doing it. They're not flowing out of themselves, so we don't really put, I guess, their soul, as we express a soulless music, we don't put their soul in creating this music, and it becomes not a process motivated thing but ends motivated. But I guess a lot of great music is just created by people just jamming, playing the music, whatever, just for the experience in the moment, and then it also becomes recorded in the end, but they really enjoy the process itself, like trying different things, seeing what works, being there, right? I mean, I guess in the end, ends also matter to an extent, right? In this precision engineer built world, but there's different ways to live. That's all I want to say, right? We live in mostly Western society, capitalism and stuff, but the way we can live in this society is also different, and what you can do with your free time and what kind of work you can do is also like unlimited possibility. So if you look at this cashier for these Icelanders, right? And then Icelander knows how to do his job, he knows his way, he'll find the way, right? So this freedom, this approach of being process motivated lets Icelander be in his process, lets him have his own way, have his own arrow. It's not like this arrow, it's not like, hey, do it this way. No, because Icelander is doing his own way, he's able to express himself, be there more, and it becomes more about the process. And because he's becoming more living it, more in the now, I guess it really makes people kind of, I don't know, happy when they're able to think. So this is like a little diagram, right? So when stuff is process motivated, is life, constant change, movement. But it ends motivated is stillness. Like movie ends, it's still. Life ends, it's still. You take a picture, it's a still picture or still life painting, right? Yeah, process motivated thinking is you be here. Ends motivated is you're somewhere else in your mind. You're not here now, right? What is to be now? But otherwise, if you ends motivate, you're always thinking about the future. What am I gonna do after I finish this work? Will I go see the cinema, or will I go see the, I don't know, theater? Like, it's good we think about the future, it's obviously important, but when you're working on something, it really helps to be in a process. Like when you're making your internet things, websites things, you're really in a process of doing the coding, and little tasks one after the other, you achieve, you succeed, and then time just flies because you're not even focusing on time, you're always in the now, and then that's kind of lets the time fly because you don't even think about the future, and then the future comes before you know it. Obviously, the process motivated stuff is uncertain because it's life, right? End is clear. end is clear. I want to do this, but how are you gonna do this? What's the way to get there? There's infinite ways to do something, right? Like end is maybe do a till, work at a till, but the process, it can be your own. It can be, it can be varied, and that can scare some people, I guess. Like process is always happening, but ends is something that is finished. Process is always something that's changing. It's not like still. It's always different, always different. So future is like a dark square, but agency is what you can have here in a now, in a happening, in the changing, in the uncertain, in the uncertainty. You can have the agency. Cheers to that. Okay, there's not so much more now. So if you're still here, congratulations. You were able to listen to me ramble for I don't know how much. So, learning to live in the now, that's what I'm trying to do, really, basically. Focus more on living in the now. How can I do this for things that I do, basically? Focusing. Uncertainty of life brings a lot of pain, a lot of failure. You never know if you're gonna fuck up. So we shut off from life happening around us with this shield depression. And depression is not really a topic for this thought school of thoughts, right? But it's related, I guess. And self-compassion and love is how we can get back to life, because in self-compassion you don't beat yourself up about things. You understand in self-compassion that you are a human, not a machine. I know we live in a machine age, an engineer age, precision age, yeah, Germany, machines, fabrics, but really so many people for so many years, and still in now so many societies, we don't live like this. We live with self-compassion and love. I can also send you this article, really good one to read on Facebook, about some culture in Africa where they sing a song for every person. Every person has his own song for the whole life, and everybody around knows the person's song. And then it's all happening through love, through accepting others, through reminding others who they are. Everybody has their own song, so everybody has their own way, kind of. So with self-compassion and with love, you will pull through somehow, definitely, I think. So in life you have lots of vitality, and of course in depression you have little vitality. So how to get back to more vitality is more love for others, more compassion for others, and also love yourself so much and have compassion for yourself, right? So doubt is when you cannot do something that somebody else does in their way, and you think, okay, can I do it this way? But maybe not. Maybe you're not a Michelin cook, not a Michelin level chef, but you can still cook food that is delicious. You don't need to do it exactly like somebody else does. And it always comes from this comparison yourself to others, right? You can do it in your own way, or just find the way that works for you. And because you do it in your own way, the way you know how to do it, that just feels so much better, right? Which may not be perfect, but it's done. So you know about games because you like games. So I picked this PlayStation 5 because we have so much agency in games, ability to make choices without the pain of uncertainty. We have uncertainty, but if we fail in a game, okay, we say, okay, it's a game. But in life, it's all so much more serious. So we gotta never make mistakes, and mistakes hurt so much more in life. But do they have to? But it makes us feel strong, creative. It makes us almost feel like living in a game more than living in our real life. Like, that's crazy, right? But it's true, because we are living more in a game sometimes than we are in real life. In real life, you're just being like a robot, like a machine, not thinking. No free thinking, just following rules, following regulations, following ideas, following ways other people want you to live, but in a game you feel like suddenly you feel with wings spread out, you feel strong. Yeah, I can do whatever, I can make my own choices. Let's go for this adventure first or that adventure. You can make your own strategy so much more, and I guess you can have your own path of playing a game, but why not your own path of playing a life? I don't know. So anyhow, that's what I'm focusing on. This intent energy flowing from me into this world. Like it just flows, my unique energy. And I guess for you, your own unique energy also flows, right? From you into the world, from you into the surroundings. You can just feel sometimes. Self-compassion, we're human, we make mistakes, learning to live. So it allows us, self-compassion allows us to live in the present and face all this uncertainty, right? Think about children. We have parents who love them, who support them, and also they love themselves. They feel good about things usually, and at least because of this love from the parents, they're able to do everything well. Maybe when you grow up, you have this, some people have this immense love that they feel from this inside or from God or from themselves, and this also then allows them to drive forward because of this belief in God, belief in some higher power. It's is really powerful, really powerful. So let the love flow out of you. That is, I guess, one of the main thoughts I have, right? I feel fulfilled when I'm giving as much of this energy, as much of myself. I feel so good. Like, for example, when you love somebody and you want to do everything for this person that you love, and you have so much energy for them, you feel so good. And then what if they don't respond? Sometimes you're like, oh damn, you're not appreciating all this, you're being too intense. But it feels so good to be intense sometimes, right? It feels so good to be intense at something. And then if this love is met by an intense something from the other side, then it's just fucking crazy. Passion. I don't know, intense energy is meaning. But yeah, you gotta look for that. It feels good when you have this intense energy flowing through you. I guess I found the right word, but I guess this energy can be too big and you need to learn to control it, of course, so your energy does not hit and slap the other people just like this. Because people don't want to be slapped with your energy, I guess. So sometimes, I just take a pen and thoughts just write themselves. I don't think, or they just come. It seems like they come from the cosmos to my mind. I don't even think about it. I just write them down. It just comes, I think it's one of the examples when you really feel it. And it also feels great to achieve what you set your mind to, which is also your energy flowing from your mind right through your body, and then you continue following intuition. That's also what I'm learning, what I intuitively want to do, right? I just follow this a bit more. So it's also learning to live simple. Current world is made by precision engineers with complex ways to do things, and to enjoy things, like they want orchestras and things, but on a simple way you can do so much more things without so much huge preparation and reading. And it's so much better to learn by trying, by being in a process, by failing, by trying again. Obviously for that I will need some coaches. It's always best to learn with a teacher. Like if I want to go on big adventures, like climb mountains or go to the Arctic, like without somebody who has competence to be really good at this thinking, being in the moment, observing and making decisions, you're gonna die because you're not gonna know what to do in this certain situation. But it's best to learn with a teacher in a certain situation until you become independent, I guess. Because just learning from books is like learning to show intelligence, but not learning to live intelligence. This is something somebody else told me. It's not yet something I fully grasp in my mind, but it sounds kind of good learning to live intelligence, not show intelligence. So, and to learning to live intelligently takes a teacher. And I guess if I want to go to Arctic Circle one day, I need to first go maybe 1 or 2 times with somebody else who already done this journey, learn from them how they see things, how they solve simple problems, and then kind of develop your own way, right? Because maybe if you just try with your own way straight away, maybe that's also not the best, because what well ends up freezing is, you freeze and you die. So you need some strategy here as well. So literally anything around preparation takes too long, and we can do it as well. So what I would suggest is focus on a flow from you, not some other flows that might not suit you in doing stuff. Maybe you have other people who, I don't know, write differently lyrics or write differently rap. But if you focus on the way it naturally comes from you, just put on a beat and write some lyrics, or put on a beat and see what you sing, because everybody can sing. Put on a beat and dance, because everybody can dance. Put a bunch of ingredients and cook them in high heat, and then see how the heat changes its ingredients. Like, experiment, try and cook, and then something will come out of it. And then you'll gain knowledge, hopefully information, which you can use. And you'll not only learn information about the end result, you learn information about the process, and you learn information about the way you look at things. You learn information about your own intelligence as you do things. You learn to live intelligently, right? So you don't need an orchestra to enjoy music. You don't need teams of chefs to enjoy complex food. You can make your own simple stuff before delving into something more complex, something more coordination of people need to do, right? I mean, many societies, people, cultures are not so culturally developed as precise coordination of ensembles and people working together to do really magnificent things. But for now, I'm just focusing on my own journey, right? So what next? This is the last slide. Welcome to the end of this presentation. What's next for me? So from these thoughts, I have some things regarding this world coming to me. I really want to develop my art of noticing. I'm thinking of also taking up a little camcorder and try to film things, but not use the camcorder as a tool to make end product films, but use the camcorder as a technology to help me see and notice things in the present, in the now, in different way. And what happens with the tape, I don't care, maybe, but it's just a toy, it's just something to play with, for the present. And also I want to read more detectives, I guess, learn more about clues. And competence means knowing what to look for, what to pay attention to, apparently. If you want to be intelligent, and I want to be intelligent, so I hopefully that I can develop some general competence, or at least a general competence of noticing things. That would be a good thing for me, I suppose. Me to the world, design thinking, strategic thinking. I really feel from inside that I'm curious about strategies now and how to apply them. Also, like, about knots, I really want to make some knots. I guess discipline to achieve and focus on the process. Play, try. There's many things to do for me, but I guess the most important thing that I'm curious about is the source of this energy. Understanding how it's flowing from me into the world, right? Because then I can live in the now, I can live in the present, I can live in a process, live through process, right? And this energy, the more it flows through me, you kind of feel fulfilled when energy flows through you, right? And if I understand how to maybe combine this energy with my own energy, like, I don't know if you ever seen Naruto, but there's this Naruto Kitsune thing where like energies are combined, sort of. how to, I don't know, use this energy, how to understand this love, right? I'm very bad at feelings in general, right? I'm just learning now what are feelings, how to feel, because it would be hard for me to be empathetic, right? Because I feel like I don't understand really what are feelings, like stuff happens and I'm just like, you know. mm. So maybe if I understand this flow through me better, then it would be cool. So yeah, and I think this is it. So yeah, hope this was somewhat useful or mildly entertaining, and see you soon.